Alright, hey everybody, it's your favorite chef, Chef Stevie here from the 510 representing. And today we're making a Depression-era masterpiece. That's right, water pie. I kid you not, we're making a pie with water as a main ingredient. And I gotta tell you, it feels great to be back in the kitchen again. First time they let me do this in about 19 years since I inadvertently food poisoned a lot of people with sanitizer. That was an interesting story, so be very careful when you're at big box retail stores, go to their food counters, because you just don't know how well people have been trained working behind there. So, anyway, this is a fairly simple recipe. You know, the Great Depression wasn't such a great time. People had to scrounge by on what they had available in their kitchens, trying to make lemonade out of lemons. In this case, trying to make dessert with common home ingredients. And that's what we're going to do today. So besides water, what you need, the only thing you may not conveniently have at home you have to pick up is pie crust. Deep dish one is what they say. Other than that, the rest of the stuff you're going to need, you probably already got. I feel like everybody's probably got sugar at their home. You can have a little bit of flour as well as part of it. A little vanilla extract. This was hard to find at the beginning of the pandemic, but now it's being sold in a normal amount again. So let's go ahead and just dive in and get started. So first thing we're going to do is take 1.5 cups of water, and we're just going to pour it right into the pie crust. Nothing else needs to be done, except actually I forgot to mention, you should be preheating your oven at 400 degrees like I am so that you're ready to go. So we're just going to go ahead and pour the water in. You don't need to purposely drizzle it anywhere, because if you remember elementary school physics properties of liquid, it will take up the whole pie area as it does on its own. So nothing special you got to do to make sure it spreads itself around. So we'll let it sit there in the pie crust for now. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to take our sugar and flour. We're going to mix it in a bowl together. So we're going to need, what's it got here? 1 cup sugar. So I got 1/3 cup here. So you're going to have to watch me take 3 scoops of this, because I remember some basic math. 1/3 would mean we got to do 3 for a full cup. So that's 1. That's not quite 2. 2, and we're about to get 3. Yep. All right. Then after the sugar, we're going to put into a small little bowl. We already put the sugar. Next up, we're going to add, it looks like 4 tablespoons of flour. 4 tablespoons of flour. That's going to be this bag right here. And I suppose probably, if you're trying to eat healthier, you could probably do like an almond flour or something too. I have no idea how that would affect the ratios. If you can see in the video, I got to watch my weight a little bit too. I have not done the best at eating healthy. So, don't necessarily take advice from me on that. If you're going to make that yourself, sounds great. Go ahead and do some measurements on your own. Probably play around a little bit and see what works and what doesn't. All right, so now that we've got the little bowl there, what we're going to do is we're going to mix them together before we do anything else with it. So I got a fork. It's like a little mini whisk, essentially. That's how utensils work. So we're just going to mix it around. You want that sugar and flour to kind of blend in together. I guess if I had good cooking stories from the past, this is where I would tell them to you. That's kind of what happens on cooking shows. People would share some story. One time I remember cooking, and what was it? I was boiling water for pasta, and then my roommates had left soap in it, so just soap started bubbling on the top, and I was like, my appetite's killed. Now, I don't want to eat soapy water with my pasta, so I just ordered it out that night. Okay, so now that we've whisked it together with our fork, what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle this evenly throughout the pie here. Just going to spread it evenly throughout. Try not to clump it too much on one side. Try to mix it up best you can. Just, be a little careful with it. And obviously, we don't want to lose any sugar or flour in the process, but the more evenly distributed it is, the better. I would imagine. Again, I don't really cook, but I would imagine even distribution better. And then next up, that vanilla extract we're going to do is 2 teaspoons of that. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And when you pour it into your little measuring cup here, similar to the sugar and flour, we're just going to sprinkle it about. Don't cluster it one place. Try to mix it up a little bit. Yeah. Again, things dissolve in liquids, so it'll do its job. Okay, cool. And the last thing, butter. We live in such divided times in America, but I feel like the one thing that still can unify anyone from any end of the political spectrum is we all freaking love our butter in this country. It's why we got so much high cholesterol in America. It's why we have so many obese people out there that, it's why we're having so many health issues. We should scale back on butter, but not today. Not for water pie. We're doing 5 tablespoons of butter in our pie. What's going to be, you don't want to just throw the large clump of 5 in there. I should have gotten a knife, so I'm going to get one. We're going to need to cut up individual tablespoons, if you will. Here we go. we're gonna have a couple clumps of butter in the pie. And I'll show you in a moment what it looks like once I put them on, but essentially what you're looking to do, get a little clump like this, ideally 1 tablespoon, try to plop it in. Be careful, water does splash back up. That's why there's a splash zone at SeaWorld. So you're gonna be careful, try to place it in carefully, slowly, maybe try to be as close to the surface of the pie as possible. Spread them into a couple different directions. We'll need to open up a second stick of butter here. We do love butter in this household, so, you know, I don't heed my own advice about scaling back on buttery fat. Because, I mean, it's just so dang good. When you hear that, when you hear butter sizzling in the skillet, you know you're in for something good. Am I right? I think I'm right. Okay. Clump 4 and clump 5. I should be measuring these precisely. I'm just kind of eyeballing it because I'm like, you know what? If I get a little more butter, a little more butter. All right, so I'm going to wash my hands before I show you this part. We'll edit this out. You know, if you're following along at home and you make one of these, one of the most fun parts about a recipe like this is that no one's going to believe you when you say what the main ingredient is. I say if you're going to make this for people, what you should do is make it, serve it, don't tell them what's in it. Yeah, obviously ask them if they have allergens, but I don't know anyone has sugar or flour allergen, but I suppose it's out there. Ask them if they have allergens. If they don't, serve this to them. Have them do a guessing game for the main ingredient. I guarantee you no one's going to say water. You could probably win some bets that way. Okay, so now we're going to do with our pie. Gotta be careful because water, you know, can fling out. That's what it's going to look like before it goes into the oven. So you're going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes at 400 degrees. Then you're going to lower the temperature to 375 for the next half hour. And if you're afraid of the pie crust, it looks like the edges are cooking too much, you can put aluminum foil around the edges for that second 30 minutes. Definitely not the first 30 minutes. You want it to get its full thing. And at that point, we're going to take it out of the oven and see some fun at that point. Now we're going to look in the oven and check. Now it's been 30 minutes, and we're going to see if... oh, there's my reminder going off. And we're going to see if we need to put some aluminum foil around the edges or if things are looking good. We'll let it keep going. We're going to lower the temperature from 400 to 375. Okay. Ooh, that smells good. Edges get a little burned, so let's get some foil. But that butter part smells good. Definitely some water splashing in there. Hear the sizzle. Okay, so let's open up the oven. It's been 30 minutes. Let's see how things look. Okay, so we took it out of the oven. It's gonna look a little interesting there in the middle. Looks a little liquidy. That's normal. It takes a little bit to harden. So anyway, after you take it out of the oven, it's been in there an hour now. 30 minutes at 400, 30 at 375. We're gonna let it kind of cool down a little bit to room temperature. And then we'll put it in the fridge for a couple of hours so that we can have an opportunity to let it harden, become more like a nice, cool dessert. So hopefully you waited a couple hours, like I said, and you're excited. You know, in my case, my contacts got dry. I took them out. I have glasses on. That's my evidence that it's been a couple hours. It's also a little bit of sunset outside. You can kind of see the sunset glare coming in. We didn't have that earlier today. So let's take a look inside the fridge and see what this pie looks like. Okay, so we're going to take it out, and then we're going to reveal what is hopefully a masterpiece. All right, so it doesn't win any visual points. That's fine. We didn't select this recipe for its visual aesthetics. We selected it for its practicality and fun of a throwback to a different era. Let's cut it up and see how it is. Okay, so let's see if this creation actually tastes good. You know, if I didn't know what was in there, I never would guess the recipe. Very creamy. The butter is really, yeah, I think it seems like everything was designed just to bring out that butter flavor. So it's almost kind of just functioning like a gelatin that's very reasonably affordable. So, as far as I'm concerned, the texture is a little rough and tough. That's probably just the pie crust, but overall, yes, I recommend this recipe. I like it, but I might be a little biased because I made it. So let's go find some strangers to give this to and see what they think. So I went downtown to a hotel, found 2 tourists that looked kind of like they didn't know what they wanted to do tonight. Told them we were going to go see the taping of a live comedy show, and here we are.
Are we going to go see Joe Coy now?
Eventually. Why don't you go ahead, you got a pie in front of you with 2 forks. If you each want to try a bite, let me know if you like it for starters, and you can be honest, and then what you think the main ingredient is.
this is what we have to do to get the free tickets?
Yes, there are totally free tickets in this for you at the end.
Alright,
Okay.
let's do it. Go ahead, what's it for?
The crust is a little gummy, but the other part is where the taste will hopefully shine through.
Hold on. Alright.
Try
It
this
smells
one
really
more
good.
time.
Alright, so first, what do you think of the taste? Do you like it or not?
It's not bad. It just tastes sweet, and I think that's the thing.
So what do you think is its main ingredient?
Change some more time.
Yeah, I'm gonna choose just the filling.
Mm-hmm. I think some type of like sweetened rice or something like that.
I'm like, I can't
Like
put
a
my
rice
finger on
pudding.
it.
Yeah.
It tastes like maybe some type of like Christmas thing that I've had before.
So what you are eating is a Great Depression era recipe for water pie.
Water pie.
Yes.
Okay, what is that? What is that?
I will give you all the recipe in a moment. You at home already have it. So thanks for tuning in. And this episode of Chef Stevie Makes Great Depression era food, representing the 510 East Bay. Peace out.